host, Christopher Nudo. Today, we have an inspiring guest whose career is defined by action, innovation, and purpose. Tiffany Poole is a serial entrepreneur, consultant, and the visionary behind Attorney Market Power and Hero Conversion Technologies. With over 15 years of experience partnering with top law firms nationwide, Tiffany has made a name for herself by stepping in, rolling up her sleeves, and transforming struggling organizations into thriving, well-structured firms. She blends sharp business insight with her core values of faith, family, finances, and fitness, showing how purpose-driven leadership can change industries and lives. Tiffany, it's a pleasure to have you here.
It's so good to be here.
Many law firms, thank you. It's my privilege, trust me. Many law firms struggle with disorganization and marketing gaps without decisive hands-on leadership, and it often feels impossible to fix these challenges these days. What really motivates you to step into a law firm of all places in a consulting role, roll up your sleeves and take that leadership approach?
Well, it wasn't by some big blueprint or plan or by design even. I started from the ground floor. I worked for a law firm as a W-2 for many, many years. And after a partnership split, I decided there was something so lacking in the law firm world, and I think in business in general, the human-to-human piece of it, but especially law firms, because I think by nature, attorneys spend so much time, investment, learning the law, going to law school, and then they come out not having spent the same equal or more time and investment learning business, learning, human communication. And I think it was something that when I was working as a W-2 at a law firm and we became the largest bankruptcy filer in the United States, that I realized it wasn't that we were smarter, that we were spending more marketing dollars, that we were special even. It was that we focused very much on the human-to-human piece and the business piece. You'd be surprised that right now, to even direct dial a law firm and ask what their ROI is, tracking metrics is just not a thing. Even for a successful firm of 25 years, it just isn't something that is in the law firm environment.
I would go one step further and say that even those terms that you just described, not only do they not have answers for those terms, but I'm guessing that you're teaching them a whole new vocabulary.
Oh, absolutely. And what I find is they're hungry for it. I mean, the law firm industry in general is 10 years behind corporate America. And, there's even successful firms still with paper files in 2025. And the reason why that matters is it's friction points, it's distractions, it's overhead, it's expense, and not more time spending doing the legal work.
Right. Agreed. And so when you walk into these firms and you're looking at their overall management or marketing structure, how do you identify the real gaps, the holes in their structure?
Well,
What's really the first steps you take to fix them?
the very first thing I do is ask for ROI, go through metrics. And I find 98% of the time, that's not something that they can easily pull. It's not something.
Do they even how do they even know how to even measure it? How many law firms do you walk into and you say, what's your ROI? And they're like, yeah, well, what am I investing in to get my return? Like,
Right.
can they even define it?
So 19 years in my entrepreneur career, I've had one firm, and it wasn't something that was easily pulled, so it was manual. And at the end of the day, data that you have to manually pull from all different platforms, you're not going to do consistently. And by the time that you do it, you're going to be having lack of bandwidth to actually look at the data and do something with it. Data's great. Having data and on consistency and being able to look at it and say, okay, what action I take, that's the real, blessing in having it. So to answer your question really is the first step is we have to get tracking. We have to get where your numbers live. and how do we frequently and consistently pull them? And then when do we make decisions? And what do the metrics mean? What do the numbers mean?
Yeah, that I love that. I love every minute of what you're saying because
And I know it sounds simple, but business and profit lie in
they
simplicity.
do.
We actually make it complicated.
So share a story with us where, one of your interventions completely transformed a struggling law firm.
No, absolutely. And there's many, and not to be braggadocious, but there's many in different elements because number one, I don't walk into any firm and decide what I'm going to do. I decide what is the goal of the people that are bringing me on. And so there's different ways that I've made some huge interventions. And to be honest, life changes for the managing partners and the people within that law firm. When COVID happened, I wrote a book in 48 hours on how to make your practice virtual in 48 hours. And there was successful firms of 20, 25 years with whole states, multiple states that were dead in the water, meaning dead in the water. They couldn't take a call. They couldn't do a consult. They didn't have any workers that could work. And the ability to put technology in a place where it doesn't exist at a high level or at a functional level changed the ability to be dead in the water where their competitors were the same. And within, a few days being live, completely virtual, and their competitors weren't up to speed. They couldn't evolve as fast. And now you fast forward 4 or 5 years later, and those competitors have retired. They've gone to other legal fields. And now that client is the number one in all of California and highly respected, but more importantly, has profit margin.
That that
Um,
that
Another
is
firm,
it, and
go ahead.
that's how we met, right?
Yeah,
You and
yeah.
you and I met because it was during COVID, and you were sharing your experience and expertise on how to run a law firm when you couldn't have people in an office, which really leads me to my next question, which is, you know, us attorneys, we tend to be, well, first of all, much older than you, and we often think lots of ourselves, and quite frankly, are not always the nicest people to deal with. So, how do you really earn the respect of the attorneys who are older and more experienced than you?
That even though they're older and even if they've been in practice for 10, 15, 20 plus years, I've been doing this for 19 years, um, every hour of almost every day for that consistent amount of time. And at the end of the day, um, what you provide for them is the credit and respect that you get, and is how I overcome being able to add them value.
Yeah. And so what advice would you give a young woman entering arguably a male dominated industry, especially male dominated at the 50, 60, 70-year-old range? What would you give that young woman, what advice that they would need to really succeed in the industry?
That's such a great question, Chris. And I would even go further, not arguably, I think it's just factual. And I think the reason why I say that is the first thing I would say to a woman or even a young lady, wanting to, come into an industry such as this or another industry that's similar, you have to first ask yourself, are you passionate about it? Because what you're going to have to do, if you don't have passion behind it, if it's just about um, conquering an industry that is not woman based, you're going to fail. If it's about money, you're going to fail. I think number one, you have to be passionate about it. And then number two, equally important, and I really want this to be heard, as a woman choosing by choice coming into an industry such as mine that is male dominated and of an wiser, older age, you have to come to it knowing it's not a personal deficit. It's not an injustice. You chose this. You're passionate about it. Don't take it personal. So much of what we complicate in life and actually put obstacles in our own path, especially as women, is we focus so much on the unfairness. And I think I've just never had that mindset. And it's 100% the core reason why I've been successful in this industry. And at this success and at this length of my success is I never saw it as a wrongdoing to me or the unfairness of it, or I am needing so badly to have a voice to be equal. No, I just said, this is the reality. This is human nature. The masses of this industry can't even change that because they are who they are. They are 50 to 65 males.
Right, at their core.
Absolutely.
And we're gonna pick up on that some more. So right now we'll be right back after this break. But up next, Tiffany shares her personal journey navigating judgment, single motherhood, and those experiences in the way they shaped her approach to leadership and life.